All right. Spoiler alert, Kanks does not win the Nobel Peace Prize. Apparently, this was a surprise to some people, not surprising to any of us. But in order to fully understand this whole thing, let's talk about why this is important to him. And it is because a Black man that he is insanely jealous of won the Nobel Peace Prize. So, about 12 hours before they announced the winner, Kanks is doing his dementia hour in the Oval that he's been doing every night. You know, people that are suffering from dementia have sundowners, right? So here he is going off about Obama and the Nobel Peace Prize. Play the clip.
Peace Prize for way less than you did, and President Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize for way less.
For doing nothing.
Exactly.
Obama got a prize. He didn't even know what he got. He got elected, and they gave it to Obama for doing absolutely nothing but destroying our country. No, he was not a good president. The worst president was Sleepy Joe Biden, but Obama was not a good president.
Are you going to do something with the Hezbollah?
They gave him a prize. How many months?
That's enough. This is so pathetic. I mean, the fact that nobody in the Republican Party is saying, get over it. You're such a baby. You're such a whiner. And instead, they put up these 3-hour humiliation exercises where everybody has to go around and tell him how great he is. He has entire news networks created to fluff his ego. Nothing on the planet will ever fix him.
No, it won't. And here's the thing with Trump. He gets on something and he can't stop. And this shameless begging for the Nobel Peace Prize and these foreign leaders like Netanyahu, I'm nominating you for the Nobel Peace Prize. He is bombing civilians in the Caribbean, saying that they are cartels with zero proof. It's unbelievable, the hubris of these people.
Well, and you can't change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War and send troops into your own country. Right. We have U.S. troops in American cities right now, and he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. I can't even believe it's being discussed. But this guy is such a petulant man baby that Norway had to prepare for potential backlash. And so here we have, I believe this is the Guardian reporting, that Norway braces for Trump's reaction if he does not win Nobel Peace Prize. U.S. president may impose tariffs, demand higher NATO contributions, or even declare Norway an enemy. Okay, this is utterly insane. Right. I cannot believe that our former allies are having to deal with us like this. And you know what? I don't blame them. I think the best way to support America right now, the idea of America, the Constitution, and American citizens is to speak out frequently and often about what a fascist regime this is.
Well, he's such a titty baby. And I found this to be so interesting. And I'm like, so everybody globally sees what a petty little bitch he is. The only people that are hiding from what a petty little bitch he is are Mike Johnson and the MAGA Republicans.
All right. Next up, put this up, Seth. The Nobel Peace Prize, of course, does not go to a toddler who's a convicted felon, who incited an insurrection, who is killing fishermen for no reason other than he wants to look like a badass, funding Israel to commit genocide, allowing Vladimir Putin to dog walk him, and this guy, and sending troops into American cities. And this guy has the audacity to think he's going to win. The real winner is the Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize to Maria Corina Machado for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorships to democracy. Maybe the United States of America can look to her guidance and tutelage when the most anticipated obituary takes place.
I felt like this was a special kind of irony because he's taking these civilian ships from Venezuela and he's bombing them and he's saying, oh, well, they're, drug smugglers. Of course they're not. He's full of shit. And specifically in the announcement, it said from taking dictatorship to democracy. And we see what Trump's doing. He's trying to take a democracy and make it a dictatorship. So that was kind of a special kind of irony to me.
Okay. And then next up, here's a video of Kanks begging for the Nobel Peace Prize. Play the clip.
I don't know what they're going to do, really, but I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. And I've stopped 8 wars. So that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. And that's the thing that bothers me so much about the Russia-Ukraine. 7,000 people are dying a week. Young soldiers. They're almost all soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. So in theory, it doesn't affect us, no, but it's a terrible thing.
It's just unbelievable how unchecked he goes with. Now we've gone to 8 wars that he's quote unquote solved. Like he has a Rubik's Cube, a bag of Rubik's Cube, and he's sitting there solving them. It's just, he's so over his skis. And I get him. I understand a malignant narcissist. I understand a crazy person. I understand a man with a fragile ego. The sycophants surrounding him, the bottom feeders that would never get employed to the positions they are now. One example would be that Lindsay, the attorney that's charging all of Trump's enemies, where nobody in the DOJ will even put their names on it. She would never get this type of job, ever. Pete Hegseth would never get this kind of job. Kash Patel was a shitty lawyer. And then he had a podcast where he spoke about conspiracy theories. And now he's the director of the FBI. These people can't function in a meritocracy because they would have no jobs. It's all of these ass kissers that get to me. But then you've got some actual smart people, Republicans that are probably moderates in Congress, in the Senate, who will not stand up to him and stand up for the Constitution. And that's where I just start saying, oh, okay, this is how these things happen. It's just mass capitulation. And you guys, it's so important that you understand the propaganda that's being thrown at you all the time and that you not feel overwhelmed. And the best way to understand this is to get a subscription to Ground News. They're basically the Spotify of news, telling you who owns each outlet, where it leans politically, and whether you're reading original reporting or recycled messaging. Here's a prime example. Here's a left-leaning publication. The headline is Trump administration sending California troops to Oregon after court loss, governors say. And my Ground News Vantage Plan app tells me this leans left and has a very high factuality. Same story reported on the right. More than one way to crack an egg. Trump deploys California National Guard to Oregon. And then this tells me it's a right-leaning publication and it has a very low factuality. So join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that we use every single day. They're subscriber funded, and our favorite part is that they are female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's ground, GROUND news.com/IHIP. And Seth is going to link that right below in the show notes. Pumps, what do you think about these Republicans? And I'm not talking about the crazy ones. Right. I'm talking about reasonable Republicans that are conservatives, that don't want to pay taxes, that work in Congress, that are just voting party line now.
Well, I think it's interesting because these Republicans, they will not do town halls because their constituents are so angry. So they just kiss ass and do not speak out. And then we saw with the Mike Johnson, the calls that he got on that C-SPAN show. So what I think is going to be fascinating if we get to the midterms is, are these people going to vote these ass kissers out? Because I'm with you. There are certain Republicans that know better. If fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene can have a moment of clarity, you can't tell me that there are other members of Congress from purple districts that don't get it, but they're scared. They are more scared of MAGA than they are their constituents. And that to me is the biggest cowardice. Because
But when you say they're scared of MAGA and not their constituents, a lot of their constituents are MAGA.
No, I know, but they're more scared of Donald Trump and his, sycophants and Caroline K. Levitt posting than they are. They're willing to risk these turns because you see all of these different factions in MAGA angry and turning away on different policy issues. So, but they would rather run the risk that these people are A, not going to vote, or B, they would never vote for a Democrat, that they're willing to risk it because they don't want Donald Trump and his army of crazies after them, in my opinion.
Okay. And then lastly, Fox News, of course, it's Heartbreak Hotel. They can't believe that he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize.
You and I ought to get on a plane. I don't really want to do this, but you and I should get on a plane, go to Davos or go to the UN or go to the democratic socialists who make these Nobel Prize decisions. I think they'd rather shoot themselves and give him the Peace Prize. He deserves the Peace Prize. There's no question about that. But that whole left-wing globalist crowd, oh my God.
All right, I've heard enough. This left-wing globalist stuff, this is very, a lot of its roots are in anti-Semitism. And so you have this really weird dynamic going on right now. And it's where a lot of Zionists are clinging on to MAGA. But at the root of MAGA, these people are WASPs. And so many people are trying to find solace in this MAGA movement. And they're finding out one group, one by one, the knives will be turned against you. Industry titans, he will come after you as well. He will decide, I want to own Apple. I want to own Amazon. And this is just, they are playing with fire. Fox News is playing with fire. They manifested this guy and they're going to have to deal with the fallout. All right. That's all we have for this episode. Like, subscribe, buy our book, and Pumps and I will be back later with more news.